And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100% agree. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Hello, everyone. Again, it is us, myself, John McCarthy, and the real punk, Josh Thompson, coming to you live with the latest edition of the Weighing In podcast. We've got some things to talk about. We had TYRON Woodley against Jake Paul. I know that you've heard that enough, but it actually happened, and we got to talk about what happened because there was some things going on there that might not have been quite right. TYRON had the chance to beat him, probably didn't punch enough. Talk to Josh, see what you said. You were doing the fight companion. Did you have fun, and did you survive Quentin Rampage Jackson?
Man, Quentin made the show. It was fun. He was fun. He was, I've been around him a lot throughout our careers and stuff, but, just being around him when it's like the shtick is not around, he's a great guy. He's an absolute great guy.
He's fantastic.
Been around him from a long time ago, and we talked about it a little bit on the show. I was on the, I was helping Rob McCullough get ready for one of his WC fights. And I was already the Strikeforce world champion, so I was heading down there. I would go down there and help him train all the time. He was a good guy. We fought back in the WFA. And so after that, we kind of just reached out to each other and like, hey, he hit me up one time asking if I would come down and kind of help him train. I think it was for, I want to say it was for the fight he won the title, but then like later on he fought Jamie Varner for.
WC.
And then I think, in the WC. So, WC. But yeah, we, cool guy, great guy. I've been around him forever, but Quentin was fun to be around back then, and this was a great time for us to talk about old stories, pride stories, UFC stories, whatever, fight stories in general. He's got a lot of great stories, and it was fun. It was good to have him on. It was good. It was just great. It was great to be around somebody that like I can relate to in terms of history of the sport.
Yeah, because you're
been
both
around
old.
So long. Yeah, thanks, buddy. Thanks, buddy.
Dude,
that's
my whole thing. Like, everyone I relate to, they're all old.
Well, except for me, but it's probably because we're old in the sport. Really. If you think about it, I'm not like, I am considered one of the older guys in the sport. I'm not fighting anymore, but there was the original generation of the Hoyts and the Colemans and those guys,
the beginners,
right?
the pioneers.
The beginners, the legends, like the original legends, the OGs. We call them the OGs. There was them, and then you had there was like a group in the middle that was like Marco Huas and Paul Varlins, and then Frank Shamrock kind of came towards the end of that. And then Frank was that next generation, and then it was us. So I guess you would say we were kind of like the fourth. I was kind of in that fourth generation of, of fighters. That was good. It was.
I think you're in the third generation. I'm giving you third generation. Yeah, because if you take a look, it's Hoist, and you had guys like Mark Coleman, Dan Severn, Don Fry. That's really that beginner one. And then after UFC 10, really, you're looking at. You had the Randy Couture's and the Chuck Liddells came in because Randy came in at UFC 13, Chuck came in at UFC 17, and there was that generation. And you were right; you were that next grouping. You were the guys that came in right after them. So, you're the third generation, baby. You
know what I think about, man? I think about guys like I would have loved to have seen guys like Frank Shamrock fight. Not Tito Ortiz, but Chuck Liddell. Just certain guys like that.
Way too big. Way too big for.
But he fought Tito.
Yeah, but again, hold on. And you got to go back to this and look at it. And he did. But he did it a la a Floyd Mayweather fighting a Canelo. Because he fought Tito when Tito was susceptible to not knowing how to be an MMA fighter. He knew how to be a wrestler. He was, he would throw on his feet, but he didn't have a whole lot of technique to it. And he did not know how to pace himself. He didn't understand. He was getting everybody out of there fairly fast, it seemed like. And then he got into a couple longer fights. But when Frank fought him at a time when Frank was just way smarter in the sport than Tito was at that time. And that's the way he beat him.
That's rare to hear somebody say that Frank was smarter. That's rare. Oh, man. No, but it really had nothing to do with, like, smart-wise, I don't know about that. What I would say is that he knew that he could beat him, and this is the fight IQ situation where he knew he could beat him with just conditioning. He knew that Tito was used to muscling people around. He knew that Tito was able to, control people that way. Well, if Frank, after training with him for several years, he's one of those guys who's just hard to hold down. Slippery, really slippery. I don't think that guy had any hair on his body, like his chest, his arms, like no hair on his body whatsoever. You try to grab him, he was just like, just slipped away.
Yeah,
So
I looked at when I rolled with Frank, I said he was like a gnat. He was the guy. He never felt he wasn't heavy on top of you or anything like that, but he just moved and bounced, and he was always trying. And if you got on top of him, he never stopped trying to move. He was the guy he was that gnat that kept on trying to move and try to squirm his way into another position. I called him the gnat. He was great at it. So.
Yeah, no, he was. He was so hard to hold down. He knew it. I mean, that was funny. Like so many stories about when he started training with Javier Mendez, and he told and he asked Javier, like, "Hey, you got to work with me for the Kevin Jackson fight." He's like, "Oh yeah, easy fight, no big deal." And then Javier's like, "Huh? This guy's he's like an Olympian.
He's flipping gold medalist.
Gold medalist. Like, what are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Wrestlers, they put their arms on the ground." He's like, "As soon as he takes me down, he's like, I'm gonna armbar him." Just like clockwork.
And 14 seconds later.
Yeah. Just like clockwork. You're like, oh shit, this is for real. So yeah. I mean, he was one of those sneaky guys. He was real good on the neck too. He was nasty good on the neck. He was good at ankle locks, he's just the heel hook. I mean, I think he ended up tearing Alan Goaz's knee out with the heel hook. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that's when Alan Goaz was one of the best guys in the world.
Popped his ankle in Pancrase. Yeah. When Alan Goaz went there, it was a great go between the two.
Yeah.
People, a lot of people never got to see that, but it was really good. And he ended up hurting Alan bad, but Alan stuck in there, never said a word, just kept going.
The people don't know this. I was told by him. I don't know. I've never looked it up to research it. But Frank's very first fight was Boss Rutan.
Yes.
Isn't that the craziest shit
I know. You look and you go, damn.
His very first fight was fucking Boss Rutan, and he beat him.
And that tells you exactly what Ken was as a brother.
Wow. Yeah.
That's something like that.
Yeah, you're my older brother, supposed to be looking out for me. Let me put you against Boss Rutan. We'll see if you're made out for it. Yeah, this is fucking crazy. I think they fought 3 times, like throughout their career. I think
they did. It was Frank won the first one, then Boss won the next 2. I think.
Yeah, I think that's what Frank said as well. Yeah, a lot of history, man. So when I was listening to Quentin tell stories, just about Pride, the Yakuza, the things that they had said, and then it's funny because then I heard the Brennan told the story about when he was fighting in Brazil, and the Brazilians came in and kind of cornered him and said, "Hey, we'll give you $50,000 to wear this shirt or whatever after the fight." And so they gave him the shirt, and he's like, "Okay, well, how do I get paid?" He's like, "What we're going to do is we're going to come in your hotel room. We only know the key. We only know the code to your safe in your hotel room. We put the money in there." He's like, "And then after, if you lose, we come back and we grab the money. If you win, we leave the money in there." I was like, he comes home. He's like all upset. He comes back to the hotel. He gets all upset. All of a sudden, 20, 30 minutes after he gets to the hotel, bang, 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 because he lost. Bang, bang, bang. Guys come in, code, take the money out. Sorry, bro, leave. That was it.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, shit. There's 50 grand in there. Oh, that's crazy. Damn, that sucks.
That would hurt.
Yeah, that would hurt. But, I mean, It was just great to hear some of the stories. We were talking about, because they asked us about, the brown paper bags with Pride, if we got paid that way. And I was like, yeah. That's how I got paid. Because I was in the Tokyo Hilton. Yeah, I was in the Nagoya Hilton, and I was in the Tokyo Hilton. And they must have owned it or something, because both times they blocked off the lobby. No one was allowed in there. They had 2 guys in black suits, white shirts, black ties, standing there. There was one guy sitting on the couch, bunch of brown bags all on the couch next to him or on the floor and on the table. And then you walked up, you said they put your bag in front of you and said, "Here it is." And then, and the guy even, he told me, the guy told me to count it. But the other, Brent Quinton said, he's like, when I went to count it, he's like, they got offended. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I said, Quinn, but you got paid a lot more money than I did. So they were probably like, shit, man, this is going to take this dude a long time to count all this damn money. Shit. Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, great times. Great. I hope we get to do it again with him, man. He was just absolutely amazing. Great stuff.
He's funny.
But
so what you think of the fight? Let's get into Jake
T.
Paul
Wood
versus TYRON Woodley, man.
Jake Paul, TYRON Woodley. I mean, look, I'm going to be honest. It did not go.
No, lie to me. Please lie to me.
No, I'm going to be honest to everyone. Look, because unlike John, I like to say when I was wrong. Okay, so when I was last week, I was wrong. I was wrong. I didn't think after the third round T Wood really. I figured he would slow down. I thought he would punch himself out. I didn't think he'd be getting in boxing shape is a different type of shape. But Jake Paul's output wasn't much better. Like, he was sticking the jab, sure, but he wasn't really throwing a lot more than T Wood. He was just a busier fighter, moving on the outside, keeping him at bay, touching with the jab, and maybe the occasional 1-2, couple little hooks here and there. But overall, T Wood did way better than I thought, especially after the third round. And he shot himself in the foot, John. I mean, the bottom line is that fight was for him to win. It was for him to lose, I should say. He lost that fight based on him just not throwing. All he had to do was throw more, and he would have won that fight. I didn't have it a split decision. I had it for Jake Paul. I don't remember this. But I had it. I want to say I had it 4-2. 4-2, 4. Yeah. No, 5.
That would
sorry.
be 6 rounds.
6-4. Sorry, 6-2.
5-3.
Math. You know
6-2?
math.
Okay.
You know math.
5-3, 6-2. It's all good.
I was trying to remember if it was 6 rounds or 8 rounds. It was 8 rounds. But no, I had it 6-2. But look, some of those rounds were way closer than it should. Than they were really close, and all he had to do was throw a little bit more, and he would have won that fight. And you were talking about I didn't know this when the ropes hold you up that's considered a knockdown.
That was a knockdown. And this is where you're looking. Here, I'm going to get myself in trouble again. When you have a big show like that, and you have, I'm sure those guys are really good guys, and they did a good job overall. But you have a guy that had, before the show, because they were saying, his 18th professional fight or his 19th professional fight. The other guy had 5 professional fights. And you're putting him in that situation with that pressure, they're not going to get everything right. And the one thing that he didn't get right, when Jake Paul got hit and the ropes held him up, meaning that if the ropes were not there, he would have hit the ground. That was a knockdown. That should have been called a knockdown by the referee, meaning that TYRON would have won that round 10-8 on the scorecards of those judges, because there was nothing that Jake Paul did with the rest of the round that made it to where he would have brought it back. That is a given. You get a knockdown, that's a home run in boxing, and it should have been called as a knockdown. That was a mistake on the referee's part. That could have changed the fight right there as far as, scoring wise. The one already had it for TYRON. But I look at it the same way as you. TYRON, you let that fight go.
Yeah.
You had it because you had him tired. You had him in positions where he was the guy that was backing up. He was the guy that was not able to control the pace of the fight. You were the one pushing the pace. But the one thing that he reverted back almost immediately, take a look at his stance and take a look at how square he was compared to what you'll see of a Canelo or of a guy that's a real boxer. Look at the guy that was in the fight before, I want to say Marino Love or something like that. Look at how bladed he is, because you're taking away one side away from your opponent. He can't hit you in the back. You're cut in that split going down the middle, and you made yourself an easier target for him to hit you with those jabs to the body and what he was trying to hit you with. And it was just part of, I understand it. This is what you've done for so long as an MMA fighter because you have to, because of takedowns and things. It's a different stance. But if he just had more output, he just didn't throw enough. You've got to throw. If you're not throwing, you're not winning. You got to throw. And I think that was the big difference in it. I think if he, had another chance at it, I don't think Jake Paul would take that fight again, though. He knows now. It's like, oops, I got a guy that was hesitant and didn't come after me the way he should have, and he lucked himself, into a win. He lucked himself into a fact that TYRON just didn't have the output to take that fight from him because it was there for the taking.
Yeah, what I don't understand is someone like TYRON's experience is this. You can hear him breathing heavy. We could see it from the TV. Where I was like, he's exhausted.
He was tired,
Jake Paul's tired. And then when you started touching him a little bit here and there, don't get me wrong, Jake Paul showed a lot of grit. There was a lot of grit in there. He took that heavy shot against the rope, a couple big right hands against the rope. ropes. And then when he got sat between the ropes a little bit there, he took some big shots. I was very surprised that I would thought for sure that Twinkle the bitch was going to come out of his asshole and he was going to start folding. That's what I thought. I thought Poodle Hair was going to start to fold. But T. Wood just didn't get after him. Like when he rocked him and sat him in the ropes a little bit, he started shaking his hand. Bro, get after him. There's a lot on the line right now. Every fucking MMA, all of us MMA fighters are like, get him. Just put him on his ass. Go.
How many times did you see TYRON throw it? Because he never threw a 3-punch combination. No. I mean, did he? It was 1-2, 1-1-2. Yeah. And then he would crush his space like an MMA guy coming in. And he was initiating the clinch when he had landed the clean shot. And you go, TYRON, you're killing me, dude. This is the difference between boxing and MMA. And it was just something that he has to learn. You know, he has to make those adjustments. And if he was able to make those adjustments, it would have been a completely different fight.
Yeah, he was closing the distance, like you said, too much. But that comes from the wrestling background and the MMA background. Because what happens is you close the distance knowing that, hey, once I throw my combinations, I can grab you. You know, and so that was the frustrating part. It was T. Wood's fight to win, and he lost it just based off the inactivity. That was one. Two is, I don't know what we couldn't hear the fight because of YouTube. If we're watching it, we can't play anything, you know, so we'll get taken down. So on the fight companion, I was thinking to myself, I wanted to hear what his corners were saying. Your corner's got to be telling you, these rounds are so close, I don't know if you're winning.
His corner was not telling him anything that they shouldn't have. They were telling him exactly, look, you're not going after him. I need more out of you. I need you to go after him. Look, he's tired. Go after him. I need more output. Throw more. They're telling him. It's just that he was stuck in that mode.
They shook in the ring afterwards, said something about like after you get the tattoo, we'll do it again. But then Jake Paul came out and said he's retired. So it's like he's pulling. This is what's funny. He's pulling the Conor McGregor stuff. He's pulling pages out of everyone's book a little bit. He did the whole lick the glove like BJ Penn. I mean, you could tell he just sat at home and just started like writing up all the shit that a lot of the greats did. It was just like, what can I do to mimic them, you know, because he doesn't have anything of his own. And so that just be like BJ. Did you see what BJ wrote? BJ wrote something along the lines of like, he says, this is real and see my hands, there's blood on it. Don't ever fucking copy me again, you pussy. Like it's just, I love it. But, you know, I mean, whatever. I thought for sure when he started getting clipped with big shots, I thought Jake's sphincter was going to start tightening up a little bit more, and he was going to start willing away and just withering away and just falling under the pressure.
But he didn't, and you got to give him credit for it.
I do. I'm giving him a ton of credit for that. I am a lot. I'm giving him a ton of credit. He fought someone with a lot of experience. I thought he fought a good fight. There's nothing wrong. I mean, he did what he knew that he was either slightly ahead or the rounds were close, but he felt like his output was more. He did everything he was supposed to do. It was T. Wood that just, I don't know what he was doing or what he was thinking, but he had moments in the fight. He landed the harder, cleaner shots throughout the fight. He had the hardest shots of the fight, for sure, no doubt. But they just weren't enough. There wasn't enough of them.
This is where we say, you didn't lose the fight. You lost the boxing match.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened, is you lost a boxing match. He outpointed you when you were winning the fighting part. You were landing heavy, shots at times. That fourth round, again, it should have been a knockdown. That would have changed things up a lot. But, it is what it is. And, I understand why TYRON wants another one. I think if he goes back and looks at it, he's going to see how he let rounds just slip by not throwing. And I honestly, there's no way there's going to be a rematch of that fight.
No, there's no way. I don't think so either. And I don't think a lot of people, honestly, really care to see a rematch. T. Wood does because it's T. Wood, and he feels like he should have won that fight. But the other thing is that everyone's like, nah. Like, it was close, but it wasn't active enough for it to be like a knockdown drag out where people were like going to line up to pay for it again. Yeah, exactly. Now, that's the next question, though, is who does Jake Paul fight next?
I think they showed that. It's going to be a guy named Tommy Fury.
Yeah.
Who doesn't have the skill set right now to fight real well either.
No. No, I don't want to. I'm not going to pay to watch that fight. There's just no way. I watched
Well,
T. Wood because he has an MMA backing, but I mean, he's got the power, he's speed, all those things that I thought. He was obviously a little bit undersized, not as much as I would have thought, but she was definitely the shorter fighter. Stocky, strong, those things. But Tommy Fury's not. He's not. I don't know. It could be just a battle of the two of them not being. They're not great boxers, but I mean,
Anthony Taylor, the guy he fought, has fought at 135,
135,
mostly 145, mostly
Jeez.
145. He's gone up to 155, and he's fighting a guy at freaking 190 pounds. Come on.
Well, let's talk about Tommy Fury's. Pull up Tommy Fury's record. One of the guys he fought was like 2-120 or some shit, or 12 wins, 12 wins and 120 losses. What fucking commissions are allowing this guy to keep fighting? Whoever that guy
England,
is,
baby. That's England.
Jeez, look at the guy. Where's the guy's record?
British Boxing Council.
No, go.
Love that.
Is that him?
Yeah.
So one of his guys, some guy he fought, record two. No. There was a guy that we pulled up on Brennan's show.
Oh, you would.
No, he's not on shirt. It wouldn't be on shirt. It's boxing.
No, it'd be on BoxRec.
Oh, box.
Go to BoxRec and it would tell you.
And are you typing in Tommy Fury?
Yep. Type in Tommy
By
Fury.
the way,
It'll give you his.
Podcast Dave is gone today, so bear with us, ladies and gentlemen, because Gian is here. Everyone knows how I feel about Gian when he's on the freaking computer and he starts pulling up shit that we're not even talking about.
I love it.
There's a guy in there with a record.
There you go, Tommy Fury. Go to the top.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, that guy, Tommy Farr. No, go. What are you doing?
I know, right there.
Yeah, he's 10, 102, and 3. No, the next guy up, Callum I. 0 wins, 26 losses, and 2 fucking draws. No, the next guy after that, 2 wins, 26 losses, and 0 draws. Next guy, 0 and 11. Next guy, 0 and 9. Next guy, 2-0. Fuck.
Next guy, 0 and 1.
0 and 1. Unbelievable, man.
I love those.
But I will say this, though. This kid's outpunted the coverage when it comes to good looks. Jesus. I don't want to... He walked into the cage.
If you're Tyson, his brother,
Jeez.
one of them got all the boxing experience and one of them got all the...
John, which one would you want? Would you want the boxing or would you want the good looks?
Oh, dude, I'll take the boxing experience.
Really?
I've gone through life like this. What are you talking about? I'm used to it.
That's true as well. That's true as well. Man, everyone, it's funny. I asked Shab the same thing, and he goes, "Oh man, I take the boxing for sure." He's like, "You look how much money Fury's got." I'm like, "Yeah, but this kid could get a modeling job, making really damn good money too. He's pretty well built. He's got a good look to him.
He's
crystal. What are they, like greenish blue eyes or whatever? I'm not. Gonna
now
lie,
you're getting into the color of his eyes, boy. You were really checking him out.
I want to know. They have different dads, but same mom. Yeah. And then I saw Tyson Fury's dad. The guy's enormous. He's huge. He's like 6'2", or 6'3", 6'4", something like that. Anyways, big guy as well. I see where Tyson gets it from. But anyways, look, overall though, and I'm being honest, this fight was way better than I thought it was going to be. I didn't think that Jake Paul and T. Wood, I thought it was going to be one where T. Wood kind of dominated the first 2-3 rounds, and then I thought he would kind of like slow down and peter out and just not do what he did, just not be active.
Yep.
But he had moments even in the later rounds where I was like, just go more. But look, this is what you get though with older fighters, John. And I was one of them for a while. You're almost, I don't know if it's you're trying to conserve energy or you just feel like the more exchanges you get into, the more chances you're going to get hit and then potentially get knocked out or hurt or rocked or whatever it is. Because when I was younger, I didn't give two shits. But as I got older, I started caring about how many times I got hit because I'd realized that the hits didn't feel the same. And at 39, I wonder if T was feeling that a little bit because his output should have been there, man. And he had moments in that fight. I was like, you have this. You got to keep going. He just didn't do it. He beat himself. Jake Paul didn't beat him. He beat himself.
I agree. That's the way I looked at it. I thought in the end, Tyron's going to go back and look at it and go, I just gave that to that kid.
You can't go, though, from Tyron to Tommy Fury. I'm sorry. You can't do it. Like I have no interest in watching that fight. It's a step backwards. I don't think that fight sells.
It is. It's a total step backwards. But here's the problem. As, Jake Paul, you've got to keep on now stepping up into that next category for people to actually care because the only way that the Tommy Fury thing works is Tommy Fury's got a lot of people from the UK based upon his reality TV stuff he's done that they care about him, but it's not going to carry that much.
No.
And so I look at that fight. That's not one that Showtime, who put on the pay-per-view.
Well, Showtime doesn't like to leave the country either a whole lot.
And they're not going to get good pay-per-view numbers out of it. So.
Yeah, because they don't like to. They don't really care to leave the country a whole lot unless it's unless it's a huge name. Now, don't get me wrong, Jake Paul's becoming a big name, but he's not a Canelo. He's not a Tyson Fury. He's not a Deontay Wilder. He's not that person. And so until I think he gets to that level, which he may, I don't know. In terms of, I don't think he'll ever be a world champion. But I think he's doing the right things, and he's got the money machine of Showtime behind him. All the lead up for this stuff was done very well by Showtime. They did a great job, and I'm not being a homer. I actually, even with the Bellator stuff, when they do their promos, they're phenomenal, man. They do great promos for the events.
Yeah, they do good work.
Yeah, they do good work. So overall, though, I mean, I thought it was a way better fight than I thought, and I think T Wood let it slip away, man. It's upsetting as an MMA fighter, former MMA fighter, and then a friend of his, and just someone he's trained with. It's a little frustrating. I wanted to see him come out with a win. All right, well, hey, let's get into the next thing. What's the next thing, Gian? Speaking of the mic, please.
UFC Fight Night 191, Brunson versus Till.
191.
All right. Well, what do you think? Let's talk about the main event. We'll get into the main event. I'm going to talk about Molly McCann because Molly McCann's my girl. She's my dog.
Meatball Molly.
I love her, man. She's the energy, the excitement. She's just fucking so fun to be around. Great person. All around great person. Yeah, but let's talk about Derek Brunson and Darren Till.
I think it's a good matchup. You're looking at basically that stand-up versus grappler because, in my opinion, for Derek Brunson to win this fight, he's got to get Till to the ground. He's got to do work on the ground that slows Till down, damages him, makes it to where he's not effective in the stand-up. And if Derek Brunson just goes after him in the stand-up, it's not going to be a good night for Derek. Darren Till, no matter what anyone wants to say, look at, do, the guy's stand-up is crisp. He's sharp, and he's got power in his hands. Mm-hmm. He's even now, he was a big 170. He's still a big 185er. So it's not like he's going to be at a size disadvantage. Strength-wise, he matches up well with Derek Brunson, but Derek is strong. Derek's got the better grappling. But again, getting somebody down is going to burn energy, and we've seen that Derek in 5-round fights, he can burn out. So I look at this as, Darren Till, this is your chance to really step it up, and you're taking on a guy who's ranked ahead of you. Brunson, you're looking to he's trying to get that next bump into that top 5. And if he gets this win, that puts him in the top 5, I think.
Yeah, this is what I think. I think Darren Till, if he can just make Derek Brunson work for every single takedown, he's going to have a good chance of beating him. Because, like you said, Derek Brunson has a tendency to slow down, especially now as he's gotten a little bit older. He's actually, it's taking more energy out of him to get takedowns. And he's shooting less, too. He's almost like that Yoel Romero type thing where he used to wrestle all the time when he was first coming up, and he still got tired. But he was just a grinder. Someone just out-wrestled people and just put them on their back and was just making them work. As he's gotten older, though, his stand-up's gotten better as he's gotten older as well.
Yeah?
But his wrestling, though, is taking a back seat, which means now it's even harder to wrestle for a full 5 rounds or even a full 3 rounds. I've seen him get tired within a 3-round time span, like 2 rounds, and he's exhausted. So if Darren Till can make him work for every single takedown and stay busy from the bottom and make him work to hold him down, I think he's got a good chance of potentially getting him out of there by the end of the third, maybe even into the 4th. It's going to be a tough fight, don't get me wrong, but Darren Till can't afford to be on bottom just not doing anything. He's got to be active and busy. And if he's active and busy, you're going to see Brunson start having some issues.
Yeah, but I think since Brunson, switched up his training and he's been at Sanford doing training with those guys, he has showed a marked improvement in his output, his fight IQ of when to turn it on and when to not, push hard in a takedown, when to let it go. He's been making really smart decisions. He needs to make those smart decisions, and he can win this fight. He makes those smart decisions, he'll beat Darren Till. If he doesn't, I think Darren Till is going to get him.
Pull up Darren Till. his record or like who he's fought. Not Darren Till. Sorry, Derek Brunson. Sorry, Brunson.
He's fought a who's who.
Yeah.
Let's be
No,
honest,
I know he
you know?
has. I know he has. But his last fight, his last couple fights, but the Kevin Holland fight, he was
Kevin
getting tired.
Holland and
He was getting
Shabazian.
tired towards the end of that one as well.
Yep.
The Edmund Shabazian one, that was the main event, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was 3 rounds. He looked good in that fight. But then I couldn't tell whether Shabazian was just too much for him because that was Shabazian's first main event, correct?
That was his first loss.
Yeah, his first loss in his first main event. So I think it was just too much for him. And then his next fight, he didn't look great either, Shabazian. But in that fight, Brunson looked good. But then the next fight when he fought Kevin Holland, he started getting tired. You know, he was getting tired
with the
also in that
takedowns.
third round.
That's right.
Yeah, from trying to take
But
down after
Holland
takedown.
wasn't doing anything to get himself up, so it made it a little bit easier. And that's the difference of if Till gets taken down, he needs to work and make Brunson have to work hard to keep him down or get himself back to his feet.
We just talked about this fight. A similar fight than this is Tito and Frank Shamrock. He's got to fight him just like that.
Yep.
Just Darren Till's got way better stand-up than Frank Shamrock. But
A little bit more power.
yeah, a lot more power, and he's got faster, better kicks and better hands, and pretty much got way better at everything on the feet than Frank Shamrock. But he just got to make him work from the bottom. Everything he does, he's got to make him think about what he's doing, make him control the wrist, make him put his weight over him, make him work, make him frustrated on the top. You know, maybe even talk to him a little bit. You know, things like that get to people. It got to me a couple of times when I fought guys that talked to me. I fucking hated it. And Frank Shamrock was the best at doing that, though. You would tell me.
Definitely talked.
I know he did it in the gym, but you said he used to do it a lot inside the.
Oh, he did it the entire time in the fight.
Yeah, I know he did it to Tito because I could see him talking to him when they were in the cage, and then I know he did it to John Lober. He fucking hated John Lober.
He hated John Lober.
Yeah,
He punished John Lober and talked to him the entire time saying, how's it feel? Dude, he goes, you're going to have to tap because I'm never going to stop. And I'm not going to, and he told him, I'm not going to hurt you to the point the referee's going to stop it. I'm going to stop punching you at the point where I think you really hurt and then just start all over again.
I love it,
better
man.
tap.
He was ruthless,
crazy,
bro.
man.
When I trained with him, when I was younger, when I first started training with him, he would choke me, and when I would tap, he's like, no, wake yourself out. And he would just loosen it up a little bit. He'd like, no, work yourself out. Then he'd choke me again almost to the point where I was asleep. And then and then I'd tap, and he would like, no, you got to keep going. You got to get out of this. You can't just, if you have energy to tap or you're able to tap, which means you still have energy to fight, get out of it. And I was like, oh, shit, all right, fuck it.
But he's right.
Yeah,
But
true.
he's right.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yep. What other fights on this card are you interested in? I got to tell you, it doesn't have a lot of big name value.
No, but it's got Tom Aspinall, who I really want to see because I want to see his progression as a heavyweight. He's good. He's got a good ground game. He's got good submissions. His stand-up is coming along, and it's getting better and stuff. So it's a fight that I think is going to be interesting to watch. So watching Aspinall is a good one for me. I always like watching guys that are at that moment. They're just a couple steps away from putting it all together.
Yeah, what I love about him is that he looks just like fucking Frank Mir.
Mir? He does.
I think after his last fight, he's like, man, it's so great to see. Frank Mir posted and said, it's so great to see my son having success. That's so great. I fucking love it. He really could be Frank's son. It's hilarious. Yeah, he's good. He reminds me honestly of a mobile, athletic, like almost like a Cyril Gane. Like it's this new generation of heavyweights that are coming up. You know, I mean, it's
More
a little bit of
athletic.
that DC, that Cain Velasquez, like that style of heavyweight. But these guys have a little bit better of grapple, like not wrestling, but the jiu-jitsu portion of it all. Like Cain, he was a great wrestler, good hands, good kicking, didn't have great submissions. DC, I never really saw DC train on the ground. I don't think ever. So, and I love me some DC, but I was like, oh man, nah, I'm never gonna be on my back. Okay, buddy. It's like, I loved it. But so I mean, like with Tom, he's not bad off of his back. He's good on top. He's got good hands, got good striking. You know, decent. And this new generation of fighters, new generation of heavyweights, they're all athletic. I'm surprised that some of them aren't in the NFL. I mean, Greg Hardy was, but I mean, these guys look like phenomenal athletes overall. All right,
Starting off the main card, that's the fight you gotta tune in for though.
Yeah, everyone keeps
Luigi
telling me.
Vendramini against Paddy Pimblett. Because Paddy is a talker. And I've watched Paddy fight. He's good. So he's been talking a lot. This will be, I believe this is his debut fight in the UFC. So
Is he at 55?
Yes.
I think he's a 55-pounder, right?
Yes.
Everyone keeps talking about him. Like, he looks like a little damn kid. And then what kind of fucking name is Batty? The Batty. Patty the Batty. Oh
Paddy the Batty Pimblett. Come on, man.
Jeez. He looks like a little boy. Like, I see his shirt log picture here. I'm sure it's an older picture, but he looks like a little boy.
That's an older picture.
Yeah.
That's from a long time ago.
26. He doesn't look a day over 12. Shit. Still wondering if he's. I'm honest. I was like, if this picture doesn't even look like he's gone through puberty yet. But I'm sure he can fight. I mean, there's so much hype around him. He's on the main. He's on the main card. His first fight in the UFC.
Yep.
He's got to be a little bit of a. He's got to be a scrapper. So everyone's talking about him.
He's a very good submission specialist. He's got good submissions. He pulls off some really good all-around submission skills, rear naked chokes, heel hooks. He'll go after a lot of things. He's got a good ground and pound for the most part. His stand-up is not that great. But he's dangerous when the fight hits the ground. And so it'll be interesting to see. Really will.
Well, one of his two losses is to Soren Bach, who fights in Bellator, and Soren Bach just had a big win over somebody in Bellator. I'm trying to remember. Sorry, Bobby Lee against Bobby Lee.
Yeah.
I was like, jeez.
But
no, Soren Bach also beat Terry Brazier.
Bach has got a ground game, man.
Yeah, he's a scrapper.
He's just a junkyard dog who doesn't stop.
Yep.
You know, on the ground, that dude never ever stops until he's in the position that he wants to be.
He's a Viking. He's a
He is a Viking,
man.
dude. He's a true Viking.
Have you not? I follow him on Instagram.
Looks like a Viking. He acts like a Viking, and if he was allowed to, he would pillage the village like a Viking.
I'm telling you, I follow him on Instagram. This guy does he acts like it's no big deal. They get in these ice lakes and stuff out there. I think where's he at? In Denmark, I think.
Yeah, Denmark.
Yeah, Denmark. And his buddies are trying to get in there. Like, oh, it's so cold, and he just walks in, just hangs out. I'm like, you're a fucking stud, bro. You're a stud. This guy's crazy. I mean, he's good. I want to see like him and Sidney Outlaw would be a great fight.
Yes, it would.
That would be a great fight because Sidney is strong. Sidney's a good wrestler. Sidney's got great jiu-jitsu. This guy's got great scrambles. You know, and he's someone that doesn't
Sidney
settle.
scrambles well, too.
Yeah, he scrambles, and Sidney scrambles well. I think Sidney's got the little bit better jiu-jitsu, but Soren Bach's probably got a little bit better wrestling, but I think the strength would probably go to Sidney. It just would be a fun fight. Like, if you guys like watching good jiu-jitsu matches and wrestling matches, like two little ferrets getting after it, I mean, I think that'd be the style of fight. But yeah, Soren Bach looked great against Bobby Lee. He looked phenomenal against Terry Brazier. When I called that fight, he dominated him the whole time. And and I like Terry a lot. He's a good fighter. But yeah, I mean, Soren Bach's rattled off a bunch of wins, 14-1. But yeah,
we went from talking about Paddy Pimblett to a guy that he lost to in Soren Bach.
Sorry, man. Sorry, Paddy the Batty.
Yeah, Paddy the Batty.
I mean, I love when young kids come in. Everyone keeps telling me he's going to end up replacing Conor because of the way he talks.
No.
No? Okay. All right.
No, because he doesn't have the. Don't see it. Sorry. You know, I watched him. He's a good fighter. He's not that guy. So we'll see.
All right. Is he from the UK or is he from Ireland?
UK.
He's from the UK?
Yeah.
All right. Well, all right.
So let's talk about your
Molly
crush, Molly McCann.
Yeah, my Molly. I love her. She's just fun, man. Like, honestly, every time I've been out to the UK for any events for Bellator, she's been there either with Liam McCord or whoever else, that she's out there with. And she's phenomenal, man. She's got great energy. She's ride or die for her friends that she trains with. But then I also love her energy inside the cage, too, when she fights. She comes forward. She tries to do everything she can. She's been a little bit on a skid, I think, recently. Yeah, 2 losses. But, got to get her back on track. She gets back on track. She's one of those, fan favorites. She's a sweetheart of a girl, and she fights her ass off. Those are the kind of fighters you want to have. Those are the kind of fighters you want to be around. And those are the ones you want to support. So, yeah. She's, but we get into this, 2 losses in a row. You're starting to look at things like, okay, what's your confidence like? How was your training? How have you been feeling in terms of, your camps? Like, you feel like you're in the right spot. This is when a lot of people start questioning whether they're at the right camp or not. They're thinking to themselves, I have 2 losses in a row. I've never lost 2 in a row. Maybe I should start looking at other places to train with better people to train with. I mean, those are the things that go through her minds. I don't know if that's what she's thinking. I haven't talked to her really about any of that, but she's a phenomenal athlete. She's a phenomenal fighter. She's someone that I think she can get in there and grind it out. But she's a dog. She takes big shots and gives big shots, and she just wants to fight. She's got to work on her ground game a little bit more, in terms of, getting back up to her feet and not settling on the bottom. But I think she has something. She just needs to figure that out, and hopefully her confidence isn't too shot coming off 2 losses.
Yeah, well, her opponent's also coming off a loss to Alexa Grasso, and she also has a loss to she has a loss to Shevchenko, not Valentina, Antonia. But she's a good grappler, doesn't have a ton of power in her hands. So I think it's a good matchup for Molly. She needs to be careful on the ground with her, but it's a fight she can win. But if she doesn't win it, I don't think she's going to be with the UFC anymore.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with her is that when she gets taken down, she tries to muscle herself out of a lot of things. And when that doesn't work, by the second round, even if it does work, but by the second round, you can't keep muscling yourself out of things because then you're tired, you're exhausted, and that's not something you can do for the whole 3 rounds. And especially if you get to 5 rounds. I mean, if you get to 5 rounds, you're doing something right. But I mean,
you've been winning.
Yeah, you've been winning. In 3 rounds, though, it's exhausting because you're fighting at a faster pace. People don't understand that when you fight 5 rounds, sure, you're fighting at a fast pace, but it's not the same pace that you fight at a 3-round fight. So there's different levels to fighting a 5-round and a 3-round fight. So
yep, normally.
All right, what else?
Absolutely. No, that's it for me. As far as those are the ones that I really look at. I mean, it's one of those fight cards you look and you go, doesn't have the huge names on there or anything like that, but it's got some good matchups, and this could be a fight card that's got a lot of really good fights on it. So
yeah, that's the thing. So people need to this is another thing people need to understand is that when you see a card like this, all these young fighters, they got something to prove.
Yeah,
they've all got to make sure that they're getting in a card like this where no one's name stands out. Well, guess what? You want your name to stand out. Like if Dana White's sitting there, or Sean Shelby, or who's the other guy, Nick Maynard, and Nick Maynard, if they're all sitting there. If one of them's sitting there or all of them are sitting there and you're the only guy that comes out or girl that comes out and just lets it all hang out, they're like, oh, shit, you stood out. And that's kind of what they need to do. And so this is their opportunity to shine on a card that's not, won't be overshadowed by, by someone else, like an Izzy or a Conor or a Dustin Poirier or a Khabib or anybody else like that. Like you're not getting overshadowed. So this is your opportunity to shine. So these cards will sometimes end up being barn burners, of a card. So if you guys are, got nothing to do on Saturday, make sure you guys tune in and watch it, man. Should be a good fight. Should be some good fights.
Should be.
What else you got, Gian?
Agree.
Let's talk about one. John?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was like, all right, well, one of my favorite girls.
You just want to talk about it because of Nicolini.
Yep. Absolutely. I trained with her for years. She's an absolute sweetheart. She used to date one of my best friends for the longest time, the Swiss Tiger. And just overall, just like she's a phenomenal jiu-jitsu player. She is getting a little older in age. I want to say she's 38, 37, somewhere. 39. Shit, 39. Damn, times fly. But she's got a win over Angela Lee, her last fight. But yeah, she's phenomenal on the ground. She doesn't handle the striking all that well, but she is getting better. I hope this time away she spent time working on her striking. That would be nice to see. But as far in terms of being on the ground, I don't think there's a lot of girls in jiu-jitsu that can hang with her. I mean, they'll be like Mackenzie Dern. They'll be like Mackenzie Dern. They'll be like Mackenzie Dern. That's pretty much it when it comes to competing against her. There's Mackenzie. There's oh gosh, I can't remember her name. Oh God, Guerzi. Anyways, there was a girl but that's just jiu-jitsu. That's not striking. So, there's a lot of girls.
Didn't Nicolini beat Angela Lee, but then Angela Lee came back and beat her?
No, they only fought the one time.
Really? I thought they fought
Yeah.
twice.
No, they only fought the one time. Nope. I think they did a jiu-jitsu. Did they do a jiu-jitsu match against each other? So they were both out of Evolve. So they brought Michelle Nicolini in to one, and Michelle moved out there to teach it at, I believe, at Evolve. And then when they were there, I guess Angela Lee and her really weren't really vibing to like connect and do what like to train together, because I think they realized they were gonna have to fight. And
Yeah,
so
eventually.
yeah. But Michelle's just nasty good. I've rolled with her a little bit here and there, and she's, for being so small, I didn't really until I had trained with her. You look at a girl, you say, or a female. Sorry for those of you guys that I've been, you look at a female and you
Yourself
go,
in trouble.
yeah, you look like you're pretty muscular. You look like you've got some size to you. But then when you train with them, you're like, oh wow, you're a lot smaller than I thought. Because you see them in a gi, right? You see them in a gi, and they're kind of like, the gi is a little bit bigger. It's, it sits on their shoulders more. The gi pants don't really, they're a little bit, they stick out a little bit more in terms of around the legs and the ankles and stuff. So you really can't see. But once you start training with them, you're like, oh wow, you're tiny. You're tiny. So, but look, this should be a good card overall. I mean, but it's pretty much, it is all females. So it's just strange. It's the first time I've heard of them doing an all female card.
Well,
Interesting.
Nicolini's fighting Zhang, right?
Yes.
Who's got really good stand up. So
Yeah. And Michelle has a
better-
hard time with. She's not a great wrestler.
she better get the fight to the ground.
Yeah. How
Because
tall
I
is?
do know that Zhang has fought Angela Lee twice. Won one, lost one. But
Got it.
Zhang is good. She's only got 2 losses, so
Yeah. Whereas Angela Lee was able to get a submission on her the second time.
yep. Which
But
is
in
what you would
doing
expect,
that-
and that's what Michelle needs to look towards. That's her bread and butter. I think
Got
you know what, we need to get Mackenzie Dern on the show. We need to talk with Mackenzie. That's a good call.
That's
We're
a
gonna
good
do
call. Yeah, we should do that. Overall though, but like Harada she's pretty good as well. She's 4-0. She's feisty, good on decent on the feet, decent jiu-jitsu. She's got a great she's got good conditioning, good presses the pace real well. But overall though, like the other girls, I'm not too familiar with you guys. So you have to bear with me, man. So the Seo Hee Ham, like I've seen Harada fight, but I honestly haven't seen the rest of them fight. Wonder who Mai Yamaguchi is, because it sounds familiar. Now I could be thinking of someone else, but she sounds familiar.
Yeah, it sounds like Yamauchi, which is Goichi.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
But
I don't
been
think I've seen her
fighting.
fight.
been fighting for a
interesting.
while though.
Yeah, to be honest, I forgot this card was coming up. I mean, we don't get a lot of news on them up until the actual fight, until the week of. So, all right, well, hey, that's the best we're gonna do on this card, to be honest. So if you guys are gonna tune in, but the main event should be good. Michelle Nicolini and Zhang should be good, and then Harada's pretty good. So if you guys want to check her out, she's pretty damn good. All right, guys, before we get started on our next conversation, let's go to mybookie.ag. Scan the QR code, collect your bonus here with this little QR code right there. So they will give you a little extra spending cash on. You can bet on all sorts of stuff. Football's starting up now. You got basketball. You got all these things coming up. So you can start making those bets and placing those bets and making some money at mybookie.ag. Scan that QR code to collect your bonus.
Promo code weighing in, scan to collect the bonus, and I hope you all win.
Conor McGregor confirmed that he only has 2 fights left in his UFC contract.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you said we were going to do news, John. What's wrong?
Oh, all right. CM Punk officially retires from MMA.
No, we'll talk on it.
Oh my, really? That's officially now?
Wow.
With
This
his
is crazy.
one loss and one no contest now?
Yeah. Look,
Way to
let's
go,
go back
Mike
to the
Jackson.
Conor thing. Let's go back to the Conor thing. Two fights left on his contract. That doesn't really mean a whole lot. I mean, they can drag this thing out for 3 years. He's not going to fight for another 9 months if he does come back and fight at all.
Yeah.
Look, honestly, it does. There is a lot of things for him to do outside of MMA.
Yeah.
He
and
was
there's a
focusing
lot-
strictly on boxing. So, go ahead, John.
I look at it this way. He's got 2 fights left. He's definitely not going to fight again in 2021.
No.
So it'll be sometime if he's able to fight again in 2022, if his leg is back and he's comfortable enough with it and he believes that he can, kick with it and not, have problems based upon hurting himself with the kicks. I know it's, titanium rod. Not going to feel like you think.
No, it's not going to feel good, man.
No, but, as far as he's got the ability to step outside like he's done before with the Mayweather thing and not have the UFC as part of it. And then he could always come back too. I don't see them giving him that second fight without him signing on the line.
But they'd have to fight him within a year. I mean, he can sit out. He can afford to sit out for a year. So if they do fight him, then he keeps asking them for a fight. They'll have to fight him within a year's time. They have to either fight him or pay him out, and they pay him too much money. So maybe they'll pay him out, but I doubt it. I think they're gonna.
But he's got to be smart and take it.
Yep. I mean, but what they're gonna do is they're gonna say, "Hey, okay, you want to fight? We're gonna give you someone you can't beat. If you're gonna ride off into the sunset."
That's exactly what it's gonna be.
Yep. So that's gonna kill what he makes leaving.
Yep.
I mean, unless he says, "Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and fight this last fight. Let's talk about. I'm going to go into boxing because of my leg, whatever it is." And I think Dana would maybe say, "Hey, let's jump on. This is a good time for me to start Zuffa boxing." There might be a reason for that. I mean, they may end up doing something like that. That'd be smart on both their parts because he can fight whoever the fuck he wants to fight. I'd rather watch him fight Jake Paul, like how they did the UFC and McGregor and Mayweather thing. They could do the same thing for the Jake Paul situation.
Sure.
I would rather see Jake Paul fight Nick Diaz, though. That's the fight to make. Nick Diaz, if Nick Diaz loses to Robbie Lawler, the fight to make is Nick Diaz and Jake Paul. If he wins, then they're gonna make Nick Diaz fight somebody else. Get him closer to a title shot.
So you
Speaking of Jake Paul,
Speaking of Jake Paul, what?
he says he is now the new face of the fight game.
Oh Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
He's stealing Conor's.
Like I said, he doesn't have any lines of himself. I'm surprised he didn't say "I am boxing." I'm surprised he didn't say that. Like, he's just been stealing everybody's shit, and it's working. Whatever, man. Just keep doing it.
All right.
He's just pissing everybody off, which is good. I mean, being the hill is great,
Hey.
as long as you're winning.
That's it.
Yep.
You're winning, it works. When you can't be that guy and have the win, it doesn't work the same. But.
Yeah. Can you pull up the news on the actual laptop, please?
Here, I want to talk about one here real quick.
Okay.
Because I got this one on my my Twitter because someone put out a thing on Gable Steveson going to Bellator, going to the PFL, being there. He didn't go to the UFC, but being there, in Vegas for a little bit, going to the WWE at SummerSlam or something like that, and all these things. And where's he going to go and what's he going to do?
WWE.
He might, but I looked at it and I said, if he's smart, I think he likes competition. And the one thing is, the WWE, you've decided you're going to be an actor, you're going to be a stuntman, and you can make money at it, no doubt about it. But I would like to see him try the MMA world because he's a competitive guy. He's got that skill set, and he's young. He's 21. There's so much for him to do, and he could then go and do the WWE. But boy, because I said the word fake. Don't say the word fake to WWE fans. And I wish Dave was on here since he's one of those guys. But one of them is I have a friend, Paul Lazenby, who was in Pancrase. He's done pro wrestling. Great guy. Just set a world record. I want to give Paul credit. Set a world record for his age group in a squat recently and stuff. Super strong guy. And he even said he tweeted me back. He said, "Ouch, stiff." When I said the word fake, because there's nothing fake about what professional wrestlers do as far as the falls and the bumps.
Oh, yeah.
It's all real, and and it hurts, and those guys take a lot of damage throughout their careers. But I always looked at it, and it's when you have a guy like Vince McMahon that has the ability to tell you you're going to lose, you're losing, you're going to put him over. That's where I go. That's fake. It's predetermined. Is what I should say, because it's a predetermined match. And when you're 21 years old and you're Gable Steveson, I don't know if that's really what you want to do at this point when you have the ability to be a guy that can still go forward. I love the fact that everyone thinks, all I heard from people was something to the effect of, "Oh yeah, get CTE. That's smart." Hey guys, just so you know, a whole lot of wrestlers have CTE from all those slams and bumps they take. That's not something that you stay away from. And they also talked about money. You'll make a lot more money for one night being in MMA as Gable Steveson than you will in one night for the WWE as Gable Steveson.
Yeah, there's a couple things though everyone needs to consider though that I'm sure Gable is this what he's been going through as of recently. He still has eligibility left in his college career. So he's going to go back and wrestle. So whoever he signs with, whoever he signs with, they have to sign him to a LIH deal or LA. Anyways, it has to do with they're going to pay him basically sponsor him.
Delayed deal, yes.
Yeah, but that delayed deal though automatically stops at the end of his contract, at the end of his eligibility. So there's no guarantees that he would sign with that company afterwards, because that's already been talked about amongst all the people that he has met with. Is that his contract is basically only good for that deal that he does with either the WWE or Bellator or UFC or whoever else he decides to go try
PFL.
and PFL, whoever. It's only good through his eligibility. So really what he would be is just a spokesperson. He would come to events, he would shake hands, kiss babies. He would,
he'd be an ambassador.
Be an ambassador
for your brand.
That's really what he would be. And there's no better. I would rather have him as an ambassador, as an Olympic gold medalist, and helping to promote my organization. But they're going to want a lot of money, and so I don't know which companies would be willing to do something like that outside of the WWE, because Bellator doesn't do that. I don't think Dana does that. And
Bellator does it. Bellator does it.
Who have we had? 50 Cent.
How about a guy named Hoist Gracie?
Yeah.
How about a guy named Randy Couture? How about a guy named 50 Cent? How about they've done it a bunch. Now the UFC really doesn't do it. PFL, I don't know if they have or not.
I guess for me, what I was talking about is somebody outside of the sport that has never competed. Like we had 50 Cent.
I
We had
wouldn't
50
say that.
Cent.
50 Cent would be.
Yeah, Jay Glazer, but Jay Glazer also worked for us too. So I mean, guys like that. Yeah, guys like that. But I mean, I'm saying guys like Hoist and Randy and those guys. They're legends in the sport. You want to have those guys. Frequent your events, talk about your events, talk about your fighters, your athletes, all those things. But having a guy who's only, but he's never wrestled.
You're asking of Gable, he just hasn't competed.
Yes.
In MMA.
Yeah.
So all good.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So what else you got?
Should we do fan questions?
Yeah. What's this thing right here you pulled up with Nate Diaz?
Basically, Nate Diaz seemingly accepts Vicente Luque's call out. He just responded on Twitter. Just a fist bump.
That is not a look. That's not a good fight for Nate. That's not a good fight for Nate. But then again, what's Nate's record?
Did you see the little Twitter battle between Nate and Conor, though?
Yeah, something about you can't even walk. Shut the fuck up. I love that part. It's like
they're going back and forth, man.
Bro,
I love it.
These guys are great, man. Like they honestly, every time they tweet something, I mean, I just deep down inside just fucking start laughing my ass off.
Oh yeah,
it's so great.
The best.
I mean, the Vicente Luque fight, it'd be a fun fight. I'd love to watch it, but I don't think that's a smart fight for Nate. There's really only a couple fights left I want to see Nate do. I'd like to see him fight Jake Paul. That's one. I'd like to see him fight Conor McGregor again. That's two. And for some reason, and I'm just being honest, for some reason, the Nate Diaz and Dustin Poirier fight really interests me. That fight interests me. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's never going to happen because I don't think Nate's going to ever make 55 again. But I mean, Dustin's said it a couple times. He's like, I'll go up and fight you at 70. Don't matter. Yeah, this is funny. He's undisputed choked artist. Oh man. Jeez, Nate's just out here bashing on everyone.
Oh, I know. He's just collecting dimes, man. He's just throwing out there. Bink. Oh, I got another one.
Yeah. This guy.
That's awesome.
I ain't mad at him. It's like, man.
Dude, I love it. Look, let's be honest.
They're good for the sport.
Take a look. He's great for the sport. And he has made himself viable at a level that few attain, especially with a guy that's never been a champion. Never won that championship.
Yeah.
And he's one of the guys that everyone they will pay to watch Nate Diaz fight. Hello. He's done it. Done great.
So Nate says to Conor, don't forget Kebab was scared as hell of me, and he beat your ass and finished you off. I don't forget DP scared of me also, but he beat your ass and finished you too. You're all pussies. Oh man, he's good. You know what's crazy, man? Nick's not active at all on social media.
Not at all.
You know, nothing.
Not in it.
You know, but Nate's he's a Twitter gunslinger. Love it, man. Oh. Anyways. All right, what else you got for us? Some fan questions?
Yep.
All right, let's go.
First one is
I got to put a limit on you because you tend to ramble sometimes. Just speak into the mic better than Dave does.
All right, cool.
Okay.
First one is
Yeah, don't take that shit. Go over there and slap him.
Yeah, Gian, come slap me. Come here, Gian. Gion's in studio. See right now, Dave's in Austin.
I can't talk shit right now.
No, you can't. Like, he'll try and do
Gian,
it later.
go slap him. Right upside the head. All I want to see is an arm and hand come sliding across there from the left to the right.
That would be funny, huh,
Big John? Big John,
It would be fucking awesome.
Don't get this young man killed, please. Please don't get this young man killed.
Okay. All of a sudden, I get a knock at the door. You instigated a death on a podcast. You're coming with us.
Oh, you're accessory to murder. Jeez. Great job, John. No, I love me some Gian, man. Gian, what are you? You Filipino?
Yep.
Yeah, full-blooded?
Full blood.
You don't have anything else in you? You eat your 23andMe?
No,
No,
haven't.
you're
I
mixed.
should.
You're mixed. You got something else in you, man.
People say I look Spanish, though.
Yeah, you look a little Spanish to me, man. You got a little bit more of that Spanish in you. Yeah. All right. Talk to me, Goose.
All right, so first question is from C. Carter 501. John, what is the biggest shot you've ever taken while trying to stop or end a fight?
The biggest shot. Let's say Mark Coleman hit me in the ear one time. It actually made my ear start to cauliflower. I had to drain my ear from it. I don't know what the hell he hit me with. Oh, yeah, it was a good one. It was a good shot.
Soft, huh? Soft.
Yeah, totally soft from my part. That would probably be the one that that one I felt was like, God damn it. And it was just Mark. He's just going crazy and when he won, he would get up crazy and stuff. So, but Mark Coleman was he was probably the one that hit me the hardest. There was one time, I'm trying to think of, it was Court McGee. I'm trying to think of who he was fighting. I can't remember, but he threw a kick right as the bell was going, and I knew I could see him setting up for it, and so I always put my hand between the middle of him, and so he goes to throw it, and I threw my hand in there, and I wrapped his leg, and it hit me in the elbow, and my whole arm went dead. I'm sitting there as the guys are going back, and I'm sitting there trying to shake my arm out, and it's like, nope, I can't move my fingers. This is really good right now. It hit me right in the tip of the elbow. I felt bad as far as if it hurt him at all as far as the elbow, but it hit me perfect on the elbow.
You guys, let me give you a little history, okay, of Big John. Let me talk to you about the biggest blow he's ever delivered was to Brian Johnston, UFC 3, where he broke his nose.
Did not break his nose. That's a lie. See? Now, did I bloody his nose?
He tells that story all the time about how you broke his nose. You came in and I don't know, it was the end of the round or something like that.
No. He was fighting a guy named Reza Nazari, who was supposed to be this Iranian wrestler. Mm-hmm. And Brian picks him up and slams him to the ground. So right away I was like, this guy's not an Iranian wrestler. But Brian is just pounding on him, and he hits him with a shot. And this is one of those visuals that, when you can't see it on the fight. But he actually breaks his nose so bad, he pushes his nose, and it goes over. I'm trying to remember. I think it went over into his left eye, where the whole nose goes over, and it's shifted off. And I went, oh, and I went to move him off, and my forearm hit Brian in the nose, and it bloodied his nose. And he goes, God damn, John, you're gonna break my fucking nose. I said, dude, look at his nose. And he looks down. He goes, that's right, motherfucker. And he started going crazy.
Brian.
Yeah. I got accused of breaking Brian's nose now for the last 27 years.
Yeah, I mean he was the original AKA fighter in the UFC.
He was a stud of a fucking athlete, man.
He was
big and strong and fast.
Yep. He spent a lot of his career in the pro wrestling over in Japan. He was a freaking huge star over there at the time, during that Pride days.
Him and Don Fry together.
Yep, him and Don Fry, and then I think Brock went over there a little bit for a while, and then who else was over there? Oh, Fujita. He was obviously one of their legends over there. Yeah, all right, what else you got?
All right, next one is from Corbin Hopkins. Josh, who currently reminds you of yourself when you watch MMA? And who is the new age Josh Thompson at 155?
Ooh, who currently reminds me of myself? Ooh, at 55. I don't know, man. I couldn't tell you. These guys at 55 they're all so much bigger. They're all fucking really damn good. They're phenomenal. Let me see. I mean, no, I don't see any of them. I don't see anybody.
I don't see any of them.
I don't know. I'm not, and nothing against them. Nothing against. Look, nothing against them. No, they're all fucking great. They're all great fighters. I can't say anything bad about any of them. They're all great. Shit, I don't know. I couldn't tell you, honestly. If I had to say maybe somebody in there, like in terms of well-roundedness, but was a little bit sloppy here and there every once in a while, but had good, probably Benil Dariush in that top, in that top 10, top 15. I mean, that's really kind of the only guy I can really think of, honestly. Who else? Let me see. What? Pull up. Can you pull up Bellator's 55ers? Who do we have in Bellator 55?
Bunch.
Yeah, I know. We got
that
Usman.
reminded me of you.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of guys that remind. I don't know. I don't have any off the top of my head. Right there. Oh, that's men and women's rankings. Right there.
This one?
Yes. Jeez. The big one at the top. It says Bellator MMA rankings. Scroll down to the lightweights. I'm not a heavyweight. Jeez, come on, man.
You might be. The guy that would remind me is Miles Jury.
Yeah, Miles and I were supposed to fight a couple times. Yep, I would say Miles for sure. Yep, doesn't possess a lot of power. Good jiu-jitsu, good, decent stand-up, kind of technically, like pretty technical.
Technically good.
Yeah, he's good. Not, doesn't do anything spectacular. He's not great at any one thing.
Smart inside the cage, not real smart outside the cage.
Wow. Thanks, buddy.
I had to, man.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks. I mean, honestly, I'd probably maybe even say like a Benson Henderson, like Miles and Benson, kind of like that style of guys. That would be kind of me. Scroll down to the featherweights because I'd probably be a featherweight now.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'd probably be like a featherweight now. Maybe like I would say Daniel Weichel. Probably a Daniel Weichel or a Manuel Sanchez. What do you think? You think Manuel Sanchez?
Same thing. No, I think Manuel Sanchez would be a good one. Daniel Weichel would be a good mix.
Yeah, kind of those guys. I mean, I'm a mixture of everything, But if I was to match up with some of those guys, I'd probably say like a Daniel Weichel is more of kind of how I was. Good, decent takedown defense, good, decent wrestling, good off my back, good on the feet, but it wasn't great at any one thing. All right, next.
All right, next question is from Chris Jacobs. He says, should Tyron Woodley get the I love Jake Paul tattoo in order to secure a rematch, or should he find another opponent or hang up the gloves?
Look, I don't know what the deal is on the tattoo. I heard that it's going to cost him a lot of money if he doesn't get the tattoo. So he'll have to pay because in the contract, whoever lost had to get the tattoo. Now, the tattoo, after you got the tattoo, they're supposed to they agreed in the cage or in the ring that they would fight again. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But look, the great thing about tattoos, you can just get it covered up.
Nope, you can't.
So
that's part of there's a stipulation on that thing. No cover up.
But there must be a time frame.
I'm sure there is, but it's supposedly that, it has to be able to be visible even when you're wearing, like shorts.
Oh, shit.
And shorts or a T-shirt. So if it's on your arm, it's got to be on your lower arm. So there's a lot of stipulations supposedly with that. That's for TYRON to decide what he's going to do and how important this is. But even getting the tattoo does not mean that he's going to get that fight.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get the rematch. Just my honest opinion. He's moving on. Jake Paul's going to move on. He ain't getting the rematch. It's not even really worth a discussion. I mean, we'll see. If the pay-per-view number come back fucking stacked, you never know. If they do 4 million, then you never know. But I doubt it.
They ain't coming back to 4 million.
No. Next
question is from Davon Grayson. Do you believe Giga Chikadze is the best striker in MMA, and how would he do against Max Holloway?
No, he's not the best striker in MMA. Let's just be honest, okay? He's a great striker, and I take nothing away from Giga. But there's other guys out there. There's a guy named Israel Adesanya. There's a lot of great strikers that are in MMA. Ray Daniels is in MMA. Just some incredibly gifted strikers.
Stephen Thompson.
Chikadze's good. Stephen Thompson, another one. Giga's good. Chikadze is very good, and I've been there with him when he was in Glory and stuff. But to say that he's the best, no, he's not the best. But he is very good. Yeah. And in the featherweight division, he might have the best stand-up game there is. The biggest problem is there's guys that have a full game, and right now he doesn't have that full game. It's going to be difficult for him to get into those top guys. When he's calling out people right now, he's being very smart in who he's calling out. If you're going to call out a Calvin, Cater, great, smart fight for you because Calvin loves to stand up and bang. You're going to call out a Max Holloway, great fight for you, a guy that likes to stand up and bang. Even Yair Rodriguez, Yair would try to get you to the ground, but he's going to have a difficult time, so that's a good fight for you. But then you can look at, there's guys in there. Arnold Allen would cause Giga some problems, in my opinion. He's just that guy that's good everywhere. He's got a really good ground game. He's got good takedowns. I think the Korean Zombie would be a difficult fight for him right now. Yeah. Based upon his ability to get the fight to the ground. Brian Ortega would be a tough fight for him.
I think a horrible fight for him.
Okay, and that's my point. And the champion right now in Volkanovski would be a hard fight for him.
Yeah.
Volkanovski's got good wrestling. He can take people down, and when he takes them down, he's got good heavy ground and pound. So there's guys that he fits in very well with, and there's guys that you look and go, that guy could give him a problem. So it's just a matter of time. He just needs more time, more training. He needs to get all those things melding together where the transitions are smooth and seamless, and the takedown attempts that people are going to try, he's able to fight them off with less energy and make them pay more. That's at the point where now you're talking about championship status.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think the Calvin Kattar fight should be next for him. That's a perfect setup for him to jump up to at least in the top 5. Great fight. Calvin's coming off of a horrible loss to Max Holloway and just needed the time to recover from that fight. But that's a great fight for him. I think those two guys, and I think it'd be a barn burner of a fight. I think if he was to jump up to the Max Holloway fight right now, I think Max would beat him pretty easily. Excuse me. Don't get me wrong, it'd still be kind of a tough fight, but it's guaranteed to be a main event. And I think in a 5-round fight, Max, his output, excuse me, would just be too much.
Well, this fight that he had against Edson, that's a 5-round fight. Yeah. The big difference is Edson is known to go and to start to slow down going into those later rounds where Max doesn't really slow down. Max has got a gas tank. Max is a guy that can keep pushing the pace. So, look, it's going to be fun to watch Giga. He's right there. He's got a special skill set. He needs to continue to do what he's doing as far as bringing himself up. But I thought his call-outs, those were the right guys to call out. Don't call out the guys who are going to give you, problems in a section of the sport that is not your strength right now.
I would like to see him fight Yair just so Yair would just drop out. The guy hasn't fought. When's the last time Yair Rodriguez fought?
I knew you were going to say that. You're going to say, I wanted to see him fight Yair because Yair will never fight him.
He's fucking won't ever fight anybody. It just drives me absolutely nuts, man.
Well,
why do they still even have him in the rankings? He hasn't fought in like a year and a half or some shit.
I don't know. What's it been?
Jeremy Stevens.
Yeah.
Well, 2019. Good God. Yeah.
Good God. Talk to me.
Like, why are you ranked? What is he ranked, number 3 or 4? Why are you there? Get out.
No, especially if you haven't fought in that amount of time.
There's got to be a limit, like a year long. I would say 15. I think because Bellator has 15 months. I'm not trying to piggyback it off the Bellator thing, but I mean, you get to a certain time frame. Like, hey, if you haven't fought in 2 years, beat it. I mean, we're pushing up. What is that? Math's not my strong suit. So 19. I don't know when it was in 19, but it's in 19. So 19, 20, 21. It's 2.5 years.
Well, I don't
Jeez,
think
October.
2.5, but okay, so it's coming up on 2.
Jeez, man. Jeez.
Coming up on 2.
2 years. Horrible.
Yep. Well,
see you later.
Yeah, but see, this is where you look, and Yair's what, 13-2. He's allowing his fight career. This is the prime. He's 28 years old. This is the time that, man, he should be just putting on performances and getting paid. When you're sitting on the sidelines, you're not getting paid.
It's horrible, John. Next.
That's why he's your favorite fighter.
Yeah,
next.
That's your boy right there. That's
Poor
your
Yair,
boy.
man.
Jeez. All right, next.
All right, next question is from Steven. He says, Sean O'Malley says he isn't taking any ranked fighters until he gets paid more. Is that a smart strategy?
You'd be stupid not to. I think we talked about this also too on the fight campaign. I think Sean needs to wait. He needs to keep calling out all the top dogs. But look, until he gets his new contract, which is fair. We've talked about this, John, I don't know how many times.
Yeah.
If you're on your first contract or your second contract, you're not getting paid shit. He's probably making, I don't know, let's just say he's making $100,000. 100, maybe 150, somewhere in there. After, sorry, you got to renegotiate, man. When you get to your third contract or when the money starts hitting 250, 200, 250, then they're going to start asking you to fight the bigger names. And that's fair. I love that he's talking all the trash. I love that he's got name present.
I don't think he's up where you're saying with the 100 to 150 right now.
You don't think so? Oh, jeez.
No, I think.
For the opponents he's fighting, to be honest, he shouldn't really be there.
I think he's somewhere in the 70, 75 range right now.
Yeah. If that's the case, I mean, Marlon, Chito was his only guy that he really fought that was in the top, the top 10.
Well,
top 15.
they wanted him to fight Frankie Edgar in New York, and he turned that down. And look who is fighting Frankie Edgar now in New York.
Chito
Vera. So
it's gonna be a tough fight. It's gonna be a fun fight.
It's a good fight.
But I think it's good for Sean that he's doing what he's doing. So I know everyone thinks I hate Sean. I love Sean. I think he's great for the sport. I look at him as like another
control.
Yeah, he needs. This is what fighters need to do. He's controlling his own destiny. But here's the other thing: like with Yair, he's just not busy. You can control your destiny, but you got to be busy. This guy's busy. He fights. He's active. He's exciting. He puts on good shows. He's got his own little podcast that he's doing. I don't know what else he does, but he does good stuff. Like he's always helping to grow his brand, which is brilliant on his part. He was at the Jake Paul fight and the T Wood fight. He was there. Someone said that they saw him too at one of the other last Trillers or something. I don't know. There's another show that he was at. They all ran into him. He's hanging out with a lot of the YouTube celebrities or whatever. So he's building his brand. There's no reason for him to ruin building his brand for $70,000. Or let's just say he's making 50 and 50. That's not worth it. Just fight the lower level guys. And when the lower level guys are, your contract's up and you're done beating up on the lower level guys and you negotiate for a lot more money, then let's go ahead and do it.
And you got to step up.
Yeah, he's brilliant, man. This is a brilliant job. Good job. Good job, buddy. Good job. Sean. Good job, Sean. I was going to call him Sugar Sean. I was thinking Shane. I was thinking Sugar Shane. Sugar Sean. All right, next.
All right, next question is
two more.
Not
two
really
more. This one and one more.
All right, cool. So the next one
it takes you forever to read. Jeez.
Next one is from Johan. He says, I believe Josh should fight Jake Paul and let Big John be the referee. Josh, would you ever come back for a big payday?
No, I have absolutely no desire. I have absolutely no desire to box. I have no idea. I have no desire to get punched ever again in the face. I have none of these desires anymore. And the other thing I do not desire is to fucking have Big John as my referee to let me get headbutted. Okay? I have no desire to do that either. Okay? That was the nail in the coffin. I got headbutted. John didn't see it. Fight career was over. Done.
Again.
Never again. I'm not going back to put me in that shitty situation with John as my referee, letting Jake Paul fucking headbutt me. Next thing you know, I'll get a tattoo on my ass.
I swear to you, I would not let Jake Paul headbutt you because I would do it first.
Yes, lovely. Then I end up with some tattoo on my ass.
Before the fight started, just grab your head and wham! Say, there you go. Now fight.
Jeez. Killing me, man. Killing me.
I love it.
Okay, one more.
Next one.
Next one is from Christian Blancy. Big John, did you ever want to start your own MMA promotion, like a local thing?
Are you kidding me? Hell no. You know what it's like to run an MMA promotion?
Horrible.
Especially a regional one? Oh, my God. Look, I was asked to do certain things in my life, and one of them was run an MMA promotion, and I turned that down. And that's because I understand what it takes to run an MMA promotion.
Is that promotion still around?
No, it is not.
Well, then that means, guess what? That means that you
I made the right choice.
No, you burned that promotion. You could have made that thing work, and you fucked
Oh,
the
so it's
promotion.
my
You
fault
fucked
that
the
it didn't. I
investors.
got it. Okay.
It's all your fault that it didn't work.
It is. It probably is my fault. But it's a matter of, it's not an easy thing. And people think that because the UFC makes a lot of money, which they do, and they deserve it, because they have spent a lot of money and done a lot of things to market the sport and create this situation. I always say that I want to see them give more money to the fighters. I'm being honest, I do. But, that's just my opinion, and it doesn't mean anything because they can do what they want. But what they do is not easy. It is not easy to be a UFC. It is not easy to be a Bellator. It's not easy to be a PFL.
What are we on, 25 years now? 25 years now? The UFC's been around?
More than that.
Yeah, 28, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
They were a rusty, old, rickety VW bus that had been rusted out in a field for for however many years it was going when they bought it. Basically, it was just there were so many things that they had to do. They spent millions. What was it, John? 40-something million in the hole.
$54
million dollars in the hole. They struck oil. Okay, with the Stephan Bonner and the Ultimate Fighter.
Wow,
Stephan Bonner.
I'm just looking at what they're saying here. This is such bullshit. I love
28 years. What do they say?
Saying founders: Art Davey, Bob Meyerowitz, Campbell McLaren, David Isaacs, John Milius, Horian Gracie.
That's not true? Okay.
Who's the founders? Art Davey, who's the one that went to Horian Gracie, got Horian Gracie to get into it with him, which gave him some credibility, so Horian Gracie would be. Horian brought John Milius in because he was part of Hollywood and to get ideas, and he did Conan the Barbarian, so that's where they got the idea of like kind of doing it in a pit kind of thing, or cage. That's where the cage came from, John Milius. David Isaacs wasn't even part of it. Campbell McLaren is going to say he's a co-founder of the UFC. He's a guy that was the one that Art Davey went to try to get Semaphore Entertainment Group, which is Bob Meyerowitz owned it. Campbell McLaren worked for Bob Meyerowitz. So he went to, at the time there was, I want to say Prime Ticket, there was HBO, there was only a couple entities doing pay-per-views, but Semaphore Entertainment was doing pay-per-views for rock and roll shows. They did a Jimmy Connors versus Martina Navratilova tennis match that they put on pay-per-view, similar to the old Billie Jean King versus Bobby Riggs.
Yeah.
And so Art Davey set up an appointment and went and had a meeting with Campbell McLaren, and it was Campbell who said, this sounds great to me. And he took it to Bob Meyerowitz, his boss, and said, well, I think we ought to do this. And Bob, keep on working at it. And eventually they decided, yes, they were going to do it. So to sit there and say that Campbell McLaren's the founder, not true. To say that Bob Meyerowitz was a partner in it, but he wasn't the founder. He was a partner in the beginning, and then he owned the whole thing after UFC 5. He bought the whole thing and owned the whole thing. So, gosh,
crazy, man. So what I was saying is they were an old rickety Volkswagen in the middle of the field. Then they bought it. The Fertittas bought it. They struck oil with the Ultimate Fighter with that final finale fight with Forrest Griffin and Stephan Bonner. Great fight in terms of it was entertaining. We've talked about this several times. It wasn't technically a great fight, but it was very entertaining. It was a great fight for TV. And from then on, they were able to start building up their stuff and just started using, because like I said, they struck oil. They just started using that oil to make this thing a fine-tuned oil machine. It just was running on all gears, all cylinders, and it just started developing and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's where they're at right now, man. And they've done a lot. Like, I know that people think that we get on them, but I don't get on them. I get on them for things that I've experienced with them. Whether it's Dana or anybody else in that organization. I don't get on them for for what they've done for the sport. I don't get on that about them. I do think they should pay fighters more, but I also said I think that we need to keep it within the means in terms of let's bump them up 3 percentage points. Then in 6 years, let's go back and do it again, bump it up a little bit more, and start working to it. You can't just do it all at once. This is a fine oiled machine right now. It's a cash cow. It's doing its thing. Don't get me wrong, they lose money, but they're putting out great promos. They're constantly promoting their organization and their top fighters, and they're constantly promoting what they're in their biggest events, and they're doing a wonderful job at that. And then you can't be mad at that. They're on track. They're doing a wonderful job. But this took years and years of them developing this. So
it took the Fertitas money, and look, they were $54 million in the hole, and looking to sell it.
Yeah.
So, it was Lorenzo Fertitta that was the difference maker in the entire thing. Yeah. He's the guy that he kept on, all right, we're going to do this. And he was the one that said, we're going to do the reality show. Dana did not want to do it. I'm telling you right now, Dana did not. He hated reality TV. He said, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that'll work. And Lorenzo was doing a show with Craig Pelagian called American Casino. It was about the Green Valley
Ranch.
Green Valley Ranch Hotel that he and his brother own.
It's
and
nice.
He said, nope, this is what we're going to do. And he was right. It worked.
Well, money maker. All right, Gian, one more? Let's do one more. Last one.
Speaking of promotion.
I said 2, and Gian goes one more. Okay.
All right, so speaking of promotion, Bueller asks, who do you think would be a good replacement once Dana White retires?
It's going to be a while, man. The only way I see Dana White retiring, like in the next, say, 10 years, is based off of some sort of, shenanigans. It's going to be one of those things. That's the only way I see him. It's going to be one of those
shenanigans
things.
You're talking about.
Yeah, you do. But I'm just simply saying. It's going to be one of those things. He ain't going to just, okay, I've had enough of making all these millions. He ain't going to do that. He'll fucking ride this thing until the wheels fall off. That's him. The only way I see him getting pushed out is the other way. That's it.
But they're asking who would you see taking his place? There's a couple people I could see taking his place, but they're going to want someone not so much. And this is where people look at Dana and they think that Dana's the one pulling all the levers and doing all the work. He's not. Okay, and I'm not putting him down. That's not why I'm saying that. I'm just saying he's got his job, and he's very good at his job, and he does that job well. But if you think that he's the one making all the decisions, he's not.
No, he's never been the one making all the decisions.
Exactly. Well, it was Lorenzo, and you got other guys. You got Hunter Campbell in there, very smart, doing a lot of things with it. There's all these guys that are part of that organization that they're making the decisions in a lot of it. Now Dana has his times when he's coming up with stuff and everything, but if you were going to look at somebody to take his spot, it has to be somebody that has a personality, because that spot is because of what Dana has done and the way that Lorenzo pushed Dana in becoming a personality. People expect that out of the president of the UFC. And so I would tell you that I would see someone, a Daniel Cormier, someone like, DC. He would be a guy that could take that job and have a personality, do it different than Dana. Yeah. He'd have a different style, a different way of doing it, but I could definitely see him being a guy doing it.
See, I was thinking bigger. I was thinking the fucking Rock. That's what I was.
I thought you meant to say Chael Sonnen.
No, I was thinking the Rock.
Rock.
I think Chael would probably be good as well. Believe it or not, Chael's brilliant, man. He knows business. He knows how to handle. He does a lot of great things behind the scenes. And him and Dana have a really good relationship. So I could potentially see Chael sliding in there as well. Look, he's the only guy that I've seen work for UFC, PFL, Bellator, ESPN.
He does
Fox.
it all, baby.
He works for everyone. And he's a stud, man. He's a stud at what he does. Yeah. I mean, I give him props all the time about, him being so good at what he does in terms of that. But I also agree with you with DC. DC would be a great fill-in because DC holds himself very well. He speaks well. He communicates with others. A lot of people, he has that energy when he walks into the room, people just gravitate towards. Yep. So I could see that as well. I mean, I would think you put someone like The Rock in there as well, just for just facial recognition.
He doesn't want to do that.
He don't want to do that shit.
Negative.
But I'm saying he could be the face. He could be the face and just talk, and that would be it. But I don't think he'd want to. He's multi. He's got to be pushing billionaire status here soon. All right. Also, go to our Clips channel. The link down below is in our main channel for that Clips channel. Hit that link. Hit the subscribe button. We do a show there that we'll release. It's called Weighing Interjection. It's a quick little 8-minute, 12-minute long show. It's fun, energetic, things that John and I love to just riff on and have fun, and we yell a lot in the mic, so hopefully you guys enjoy that. So go to ProWrestlingTees.com/weighing in, and also use the promo code ANDSTILL for that. You guys pick up a plethora of any of our shirts that are there, all different colors. We've got the Terminator, we've got the Home Improvement, we've got Karate Kid shirt, we've got our main logo, as well as our original logo is on there as well. So check all that out and pick one up and use the promo code ANDSTILL. All right, guys. Hey, we want to thank you guys for listening to the show. And John always takes us off the air, so I'll let John. Let's go, baby.
My last thing to say is go to Pro Wrestling Tees, get a t-shirt, go to mybookie.ag, sign yourself up, be part of the fights with at least $5. That's all you got to put in. You don't have to win a lot to be happy about winning. So do that, have fun, and the last thing I will tell you is, Josh, we're out. Let's see you. Bye.